Newlove, Stewart, Sculthorpe and Long. Forwards, Britt, Cunningham and Joint at prop. Wilkin and Bennett in the second row. Darren Smith, the loose forward. And the bench, Ward, Hyam, Yonkers and Edmondson. The coach is Ian Millward. Hull, just one win in 17 League and Cup meetings with St Helens over the past 10 years. This is the side they hope will turn the tide. Prescott, Best, Coelove, Yeeman, Barnett returns as captain, Cook and Horn. The forwards, Greenhill, Treaster, King, Marr, Ryan and Chester. And on the bench, Carvel, Donkin, Graham Horn and Ewan Dowes on loan from the Leeds Rhinos, making his Hull debut for coach Sean McRae. They have boosted their crowds almost immeasurably here at the brand new Kingston Communication Stadium, and the St Helens fans are getting their first look at this brand new wonderful venue as well. Hull just one defeat in 8 matches now. They're unbeaten in the last 4, but they have lost 7 of the last 8 against St Helens in Super League, albeit just across the road. So Sculthorpe kicks the ball, the match is underway. And here is Paul King to drive the ball in for the first tackle of the match.
Pretty solid defence there, though. Good work from Mike Bennett. Got the shoulder through. Is involved yet again. So important these opening few seconds.
Glorious setting for the match. Wonderful pitch underfoot. Lush. They've left the grass a little bit longer than normal. And of course no Hull City playing here just now, close season in the soccer, so a traditional rugby field we have for this wonderful match that is about to unfold in front of our eyes. Treaster, the dummy half.
Looks a real picture, doesn't it? Superb ground. So we should get some fast, open rugby league football tonight. Poor kick, it was charged down, and the winger easily diffused that. Talking about the opening few minutes, it's so good to feel that football and get the pace of the game.
This is Darren Britt, big Australian prop forward who returned against London last week. This now is Sculthorpe. That's a good ball back on the inside, but good defence from Hull. It was the number 23, John Wilkin, who felt that tackle. And this now is Paul Newlove.
Big battle between Newlove and Toa Coelove tonight. Two great players. Not a bad kick.
Long drifts the kick across the field. This is Richie Barnett.
Neat little chip over the top, but good thinking by Richie Barnett. Playing on the wing tonight. Normally a centre, of course.
But playing on the wing because they are struggling in terms of outside backs, the Hull side. Prescott operated there last time we saw them, I think, on the wing. He's now back at usual at full-back. And here is Richard Horn.
I think the reason why Sean McRae has opted for that, to put Barnett out wide, is the fact that Kirk Yeeman, pretty solid tackler, could take on the likes of Gleeson and Newlove.
Horn the dummy half, and Cook will float the kick up. It's high and it's hanging, but Wellens is underneath it. Oh, Wellens with a mistake. I was about to say one of the safest pair of hands in Super League, and Wellens spills it.
Under no pressure whatsoever. And that was good refereeing by Robert Connolly, because there was a few Hull players were in front of the kicker. He told them to give the man, that's the fullback Paul Wellens, the required 10 metres. What a mistake.
And what a chance for Hull. This is Barnett, ball down by Gleeson and Sculthorpe. It's Cook, the dummy half. He comes this way and finds Richard Horn. On the charge was Chester.
Good job that Long was there.
Quick play the ball, wide it goes to Yeeman. Yeeman touches down, but it's a foot in touch. The foot is in touch. The referee will just check it. The touch judge had his flag up, and he believes the foot's in touch. He's not in touch.
This is going to be a try. This is a wonderful effort. That's got to be try time. You can see the whitewash fully there. And Sean Long, sorry, not the winger,
Albert.
Darren Albert, looked as though he'd got his leg right across to flip him, but what a wonderful effort. This is TRY time. The crowd know it too. They've seen it on the big screen. This will be the first 4 points of the game. And it all came about from that awful mistake by Paul Wellens. Wants to make sure, but I'll put the house on this one. I'll put everything on this one. It's clear. So clear.
Well, the video referee has to make 100% certain. There's a lot of criticism about the video referee these days, but this is a try for Hull, and there won't be anyone complaining about the system in this part of the world. That would have been disallowed on a normal day. The touch judge had the flag up. That would not have been a try. Without the video referee, Hull would have been denied.
But how cool was the referee, Robert Connolly? Many a referee would have said, OK, touch judge, you were spot on. And it's great to see that the referees are looking for it and say, OK, we'll do the little square and find out. Wonderful stuff here.
Yemen's try.
There was no way through. Darren Albert really should have taken him. Can't allow the dummy half to run across like that. What an effort. That is a superb try. That'll lift the team and this huge crowd here. Went far too high, did the winger Darren Albert. Paid the price. Only inches in it.
Steve Prescott with the conversion attempt. It's a difficult one, of course, way out on this touchline. 42 goals this year for Prescott, the former St Helens man. He's just brushed the wrong side of the posts. The try given to Kirk Eamon. At least one former Great Britain international in the press this morning says, video referees, let's sack them. Well, take a look at that and sack them at your peril.
Well, that's just rubbish talk. It has brought a lot to this game. You ask any supporter in here and they will say exactly the same, unless, of course, you are wearing red and white behind those sticks. But what a mistake by Wellens.
Well, that indicates precisely the value of the video referee, and well done to Robert Connolly, because at first glance, and certainly with his touch judge with his flag up, that would have been chalked off. But not tonight, because the technology is here, and Rugby League leading the way. They use technology to make sure they get it right. Great offload, Trista bounces away from one, can't get away from Bennett though.
Normal speed, he's got a good view of it, really. It's very, very difficult. But that's why you've got to give full credit to the man with the whistle, Robert Connolly.
Great kick from Prescott down the line. Wellens coming across, collects it. Three are there to meet him though. Yemen and Prescott make the tackle.
Wonderful tactics there. They know that Wellens has come up with a mistake, so as soon as they go, that's a swinging arm. That was a very high shot from Richard Horne. But what great tactics. Kick to the man that's been unsettled. He's come up with a mistake. Maybe you could come up with another one.
This is Darren Britt now for the Saints. 3 it takes to bring him down.
Well, we saw this whole side battle so bravely to snap on. There's another mistake, another error.
Oh, and there's an error from Richard Horne. Flicked the pass under pressure, trying to keep the ball alive. He does, but they lose 15 to 20 metres momentum there. And the referee will bring it back for the knock-on, because there's no advantage to Hull, as it turns out, and they will get the head and feed. So Darren Smith, brother of Jason Smith. Jason Smith not in the side, of course.
Well,
wasn't him who made the error. It was Wilkin.
I must say that Wilkin looked at the referee there. It did look on the replay maybe that Paul King did get a hand to it, but that new rule we keep talking about, if you're making the tackle.
This is Koa Koilov. Increasingly, he is being linked with the Bradford Bulls for next year. And that's a great run from Sean Ryan. They want to play the ball quickly, Hull. That they have done. And here is Greenhill.
Saints defence, they're on the rack. They're missing tackles.
Trista, the dummy half. Paul King. Paul King will come back this way. Nearly got through Cunningham. Britt was there to reinforce. They're 11 metres away.
Saints going far too high.
This is Trista. Here is Horne. Comes wide to Chester. Further wide to Prescott.
Knock on.
Knock on by Barnett.
Take one or the other and he knows a golden opportunity, and so does that fella, Sean McRae. Back after injury. The Kiwi is Richie Barnett coming with it. The knock on early. Well, that'll be a huge relief to this Saints side. They were truly under so much pressure.
Here is Sculthorpe now.
Been a while since Sculthorpe and Sean Long in real top form. Will it be tonight? They'll need them.
Great tackle by Trista on joint. That's good hands. This is Wellens. And King bounced off it.
This is going to be a cracker. You can just feel it. The tension here is unbelievable.
Joint having a look at Greenhill. It was a bit high. This is Darren Smith now. Greenhill in and Sean Ryan to deal with him. Eventually his momentum stopped. Referee shouts held. 10 metres inside the Hull half with Long, and he goes and finds Sculthorpe, who in turn finds Gleeson. Kick down the line is for Albert, but Prescott has shuttled across, and then Gleeson gets the tackle in. One thing that Hull hope will not be repeated here tonight: in their last 3 television appearances on Sky Sports, Scott Logan, Matt Crowther and Tony Smith have all suffered broken legs. They have had the most awful luck with injuries.
And Sean McRae last week said to me, Eddie, that if there's any more injuries, he'll be calling me.
Surely nobody is that desperate.
Seems that way.
Look at the dreadful record that Hull have, though, against St Helens in the Super League. But they are into this match.
He's not happy, Sean McRae.
In a good vein of form.
They really should have got a little bit longer than that. And rightly so. Darren Albert, knowing that they've had very little possession of the Saints side. Played some good football, this youngster, though, this year.
This is his 43rd consecutive appearance.
Jib, please.
And how invaluable is a statistic like that with all the injuries that Hull have had this year. That's one against the head.
Can't believe it.
Well, that is a rarity in the modern game. King now drives it in at Bennett.
Hasn't that put a smile on my face? Someone actually striking for the football.
I'm not so sure it was Dean Treaster, Steve-O, but anyway.
It doesn't matter, but what on earth was Sean Long doing? They allow them to virtually put the ball at the loose forward's feet. Treaster hasn't got that long a leg.
Paul Cook to his feet. Treaster is there at dummy half. Here is Richard Horne. And Horne, a lovely jinking run. Richard Horne. Well, the youngster, the young player of the year currently, he is rising to this challenge. Paul Cook, short ball.
What a hit. Sculthorpe got the shoulder. Oh, and Ryan,
he felt that.
Did he ever? Watch this. Boom. Scully lined him up and just creased him out like a flat iron. Boof. I reckon he got it to him before he got the ball as well. That very well could have been a penalty.
A fraction of a second, that was my initial response, but it would have been very difficult to spot that at full speed for Robert Connolly. That's why St Helens have the possession from the scrum. They're with the ball with Darren Britt, who plays it to Cunningham. Now it's Long, goes wide, that's a good ball. The screams of forward on the far side, it never was. Stewart plays the ball to Newlove. Here's Long again. Good ball back to Smith. Good quick hands. Here's Sculthorpe, centre field. Brushes away from one. Can't get away from Kirk Yeaman. Now it's Wellens. Wellens comes wide to Gleeson. He cuts in field. Yeaman gets to him. Keeps the movement going. It's with Long. Kick over the top. It's on the last. That's why.
It's a good one too.
Colin Best collects it underneath his own sticks.
Dissected the winger and the full-back. Quick thinking there from the little half-back, Sean Long.
Kieran.
Here's Richie Barnett. Richie Barnett is away. It's Barnett against the Saints because he's on his own. He's done Prescott. He's away from Albert. Where's the support?
Where's the defence? He was looking, he was waving. There must have been 4 or 5 attempts to get him down. This St Helens mob has forgotten how to tackle.
And here comes Cook. It comes back on the inside. And Ryan is cut down. Treaster, the dummy half, waits.
Good job that Darren Smith, the loose forward, got there.
Here's Chester! Just short of the line. Quick play of the ball. They're all offside, St Helens. King. This is the last. Treaster. Richard Horne to float it in towards the corner.
Too long.
Too deep.
Poor finish. Wonderful effort.
What an opportunity, and there was no one supporting Barnett.
Chip into the corner. and the winger Barnett just weaved his way. It was a magical run. We know the quality of this New Zealander, but you have to point the finger, Eddie, that some of the attempted defence there was nothing short of pathetic.
Here's Cunningham now for Saints. Offloads in the tackle, gets the ball away. Barry Ward's come on to try and stiffen this St Helens defence.
Well, I got the impression, Eddie, that if Saints had conceded a try there, I think the heads would have gone down.
Here's Darren Smith. They're 30 metres away on the last tackle. They've missed 10 tackles already, St Helens. Oh, that's a cruel bounce. It's even crueler for Gleeson. Play on. Yeaman has got Prescott. Prescott is herring for the line. Darren Albert's after him. Prescott for the line against Albert. Brilliant try. Prescott with the try for Hull. He weaved in and out and teased and tormented Darren Albert. And Steve Prescott comes up with a try against the club with whom he won league and cup medals. Prescott with the try.
You'd have had 100 to 1 that he would have been caught by one of the fastest wingers in the game in the name of Darren Albert. But the wonderful experience came through. It wasn't the best. Why on earth did Gleeson try to pick up the football when all he had to do was dive at it? Even if it was a turnover, he would have had their defence down there. Now look how he just jinxed at the last minute. That's the reason why he's got the try. Not so sure about the dive. Seen many a shoulder taken out there. But what on earth was he trying to do? Pick up the ball on the half volley. Beautiful offload. The determination etched on his face. But this is where he scores a try. I'm swerving, I'm diving, and I think he may have just hurt himself slightly there. Wonderful, wonderful rugby league football. We expected a classic, and they are providing the goods. Whoa!
Fantastic try from Steve Prescott, and now he has to draw breath and add the extras if he can. It was a formality, really. Hull 10, the champions 0.
Well, he's out of breath, and rightly so. There's Gleeson. He really should have just jumped on the ball. Then they could have applied the one line of pressure. And look at them all stood around. Long went for the man. You couldn't blame the little halfback, Sean Long. Well, he's been around a while, hasn't he? Steve Prescott. He will remember that try for many, many years to come.
Wonderful start for Hull, Phil.
Here we go.
Yes, it is, Eddie, and you know, they're very unfortunate not to be leading by a few more points. They caught St Helens wide on the left and on the right, and you know, I love to see long-term planning in rugby league, because that's really what breeds success. And year on year, over the last 5 years, this whole team have improved on and off the field. They've now got a squad that can score right across the park, and that's what you need if you want to get to the Tedford's Gone final and win it.
Indeed so. They are a solid club from top to bottom now. And a lot of the credit for that, Steve-O, has to go to the director of rugby here, Sean McRae.
Here we go, here we go.
Well, he knows exactly what's needed.
Okay.
He knew that he didn't have to spend too much time in the attitude department, and he knew that they had players out there that can show the skill. But they've just started like a whirlwind. But St Helens, the mistakes, the missed tackles, it's unbelievable. We're only 16 minutes into the game, and they're well past double figures. Look at them, they're hanging back, they're not getting into the faces. And there's only one thing happens when they do that: you concede tries.
They might concede some more here, because this is Chris Chester. Richie Barnett waits at dummy half. It's with Richard Horn. Horn trying to jink his way through. Hull very solid. Oh, a knock on by Twister.
It was a set move as well. King was coming in on the angle, and he knows it. Says sorry to his teammates. And yet again, the relief there.
The turnover, and it's with St Helens in the shape of Paul Wellens, their fullback. They beat Hull 3 times last year, including a 64-10 victory at Knowsley Road.
Well, he won't be rushing this. They're taking the time. They know that only 3 completed sets. Nearly halfway through this first half, Eddie. That is not top quality. And you don't have to send the message to Ian Milburn about that. He already knows.
Cunningham to Chris Joynt, captain playing a prop forward tonight. He has also played, of course, for Great Britain in the front row in the past. It's with Long now, and here is Sculthorpe. Wide it goes to Wellens. What a hit by Barnett!
Line them up. This is going to be a tough one.
This now is Mike Bennett.
Well, we praised this whole defence against Leeds. It was something out of the extraordinary, wasn't it? And I mean, you've got the common waves, the team spirit. Remember last week the tackle against Ferner?
Yes, now they have to be on their guard in defence. Cunningham, good ball inside to Long. Big hit. What a tackle by Prescott that was.
That'll be on the turnover. They took the power play. Well, that'll lift their spirits. At least they started making a break. That'll be the first that they've really done. But look at the tackle there. Helped by Toa Koilov. There's a lot of fire in this whole defence at the moment.
And this is Richard Horne.
Can't say the same about Saints.
Trista.
They thought Cunningham was offside. Referee said he was square.
Cunningham having a big grin on his face when he pulled Dean Trista down. That will be one of the contests of the night as well. Chester is the dummy half. Here is Cook. Kick over the top in between the fullback, Wellens, and Stewart. And Anthony Stewart is content to allow the ball to run over the dead ball line. Darren Smith is leaving the field, by the way, to be replaced by Mickey Hyam. On comes Hyam.
Well, Ian Millward wants some spark, wants some organisation out there.
Well, Barry Ward will give them spark, there's no doubt about that. He's featured in the last 6. Little pocket battleship of a prop forward, but that's wonderful defence again. Adam Maher, he is so important to this whole side. Mistake there is by Bennett. And Yeeman trying to offload. Has to take the tackle in the end. Here is Barnett again. Barnett looks in the mood for a big game.
They all do in the white shirt.
Great offload to Trista. It goes wide to Koilov. And Koilov has broken through. There's a man outside him.
Oh, he should have looked. Should have given it to him. He had the hooker there, Dean Trista.
This is Richard Horne now. Wide pass. Maher. Flick pass out the back door to Chester. It goes in field then to Cook. And Cook, they've just lost the momentum slightly. The pass from Koilov should have gone out wide. Trista, Greenhill, stabs the ball towards the corner. Good kick. Stewart flings it inside then to Wellens.
Good position by the fullback there. Stewart knew he was pretty close to the whitewash. Didn't want to run the risk of being taken out of touch. Oh, that was a forward pass from Maher.
Referee looks at both touch judges. They both shake their heads.
Oh, he was not running forward. You can't bring the momentum ruling to that. Whoa, look at this. Kinks has come in. He's on top of the castle.
And that was Mike Bennett who felt that. Here is Sculthorpe now. He's gone for a 40-20, which could just relieve the pressure if it goes, but Prescott is after it and gets it eventually. But a good kick from Sculthorpe, and the chase isn't bad either.
Only 3 that were very slow up on the left-hand side. But they're just falling off the tackles. Ian Millward will have to get the message down there pretty quick. They've got to get themselves sorted out. Clarkey, they're just out not having one line of defence. Some are going up, some are hanging back.
Yeah, and very often here now it just compounds itself by conceding another penalty. They really haven't had enough possession in the opening quarter of this game, and that's the reason why I think they've made a couple of changes. They're about to make another one with Edmondson due to come on. They've done a lot of work in defence, but some of it's not been that good. You can see most of possession now inside with the Hull side, and a lot of that possession has been inside St Helens' half, so they've just got to hang in there. The only positive sign for them is that they're only 10 points behind, which isn't very much. You see possession in the opposition half, they're 3 times as much attacking the Saints line, and that's really what's taken it out of them. The other thing, when they have had possession, they've really struggled in their goal forward, and they brought Mickey Hyam on maybe with his pace to try and get them on a roll.
Mr. Hyam, I'll see you next time, mate.
Well, St Helens have already lost 4 out of 10 in Super League so far. They can ill afford to lose a 5th in Super League, not with Bradford and Leeds setting the pace at the top and Hull tucked in just behind them.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Well, something has to be done to inject some fire into this St Helens side. Maybe a big hit like that certainly helps.
Albert on Barnett, last tackle here. And here's Richard Horne, under pressure from Hyam. Back it goes to King. I think that was a drop goal attempt.
It was. And Mr. McRae will be sending a little message down to the prop forward. So we have other guys out there that do that.
I think we have to credit the St Helens defence, to be fair. They rushed up on the proper kicker and it had to go back to King.
Forward.
That was forward as well.
That's 2. How many does he want?
Well, the touch judge on this near side having a shocker.
I can't believe that. I mean, it wasn't just 1. I think it was 1, 2, 3 on the trot.
Sculthorpe goes for the 40-20 again. And that's a good angle, but it's the wrong side of the 20-metre mark. So it'll be head and feed to Hull.
That's a first forward. He was on one side of the line. He was on the other side of the line. And Wellens, by the time he got it, went for the 40-20. They are clutching at straws, are the Saints. He made comment before the kick-off that that fella there, Paul Sculthorpe, such a wonderful player, man of steel, 2 years on the trot, Eddie, but they've just not been firing. The big guns are not producing. And they've always... And Sean Long is another one that's not bringing out the goods.
Just going back to that attempted drop goal, by the way, by Craig Greenhill's prop forward partner Paul King. Not totally out, here he is, King, not totally out of the textbook because he got one a couple of years ago in the match at London, Paul King. This is Treaster. Oh, a big hole, boy, he went without it. Sculthorpe has picked up. Saints will counter. Sculthorpe, oh, poor ball.
He's got it back, looking. Well, they are just running through them at will. This whole side. Oh, how many more do they want?
Well, the touch judge on this side is being asked every time by Robert Conley, and every time he's shaking his head.
Well, we say, don't we? We all know that most of the Super League sides play that very flat attack. And maybe they give them the benefit of the doubt, but as you say, Eddie, he's having a Joe Cocker.
Sculthorpe wide to Newlove. Great tackle by Coelho. Here is Sculthorpe again. He's more involved suddenly. Not the best kick. Picked up by Marr, and away they will come again.
Well, when they get the kick in, there's just nobody thinking quickly to go back in defence. That's the 4th time that Hull have made easy ground from within their own quarter. There's a few of them just stood around. Barry Ward in particular. Look at that. How many missed tackles must be up on the list for St Helens so far?
19, Steve-O.
Unbelievable. We're only 26 minutes into the game.
Here's Ewan Dowes on loan from Leeds.
Big hit there from Ward.
And they're saying on the terraces it was high, and Mr. Connolly said it was on the shoulder. So there's the kick from Cook. Here's another tester for Wellens. Pouched it this time.
Go for the field play.
But a good chase as well.
Stand.
We often talk about applying the pressure. That's wonderful work there. Work from the first and second marker. Yet again, Toa Coelho. 3 on the trot.
Well, it's been all according to the whole plan so far, but St Helens the most dangerous side when they are trapped in the headlights of a defeat. Long with another big kick downfield. Oh, that will skip away from Barnett. But it's a very wide pitch, this, at the new stadium. It has to be a good kick to get a 40-20. Barnett! Another missed tackle.
Well, Ian Millwood must be pulling his hair out. I mean, why? It's just... This is the championship side. They look lethargic. They look completely lost when they're going in as a one unit. Look at the amount... They're all hanging back. Lack of confidence. That's the reason why Hull are making so many breaks. Where is the defence? They're all hanging back. Oh, dear me, they're in for the real trouble here at the Saints.
This is Prescott.
Kieran! Here's your mark, Stay!
4 tackles gone. Treaster waits, plotting at dummy half. Richard Horn. Dab through by Chester. Albert will pick it up.
Oh, nearly lost it as well.
Managed to hold on.
You can see there, he's got very short studs as well. They look like the rubber variety. You see when he slips here, yep, short ones.
3.
And it's quite lush out there.
Well,
he
that
should
was
have been
never
penalised.
played properly then. How on earth was that allowed to go?
Well, talk about lady luck. He's got to get up to his feet. I know he was all over with the man.
Last tackle, though, for St Helens. Sculthorpe with the kick over the top.
Well, at least he's dissected the 2 players.
Eamon picks it up.
How good is the chase?
On the crash hot.
How many times has Hull taken the ball back from their own quarter and beaten the first attempt of the tackle? This is a nightmare, but you can't take anything away from Hull. They have got the roller, they've got the advantage, and they are absolutely loving this here.
Greenhill.
4. Hit the line, Kieran, hit the line.
Now the big thing that Hull has not got to do, Eddie, they've got to keep their composure. Don't start throwing punches or anything like that.
Toa going, well, there's no need to throw a punch.
Well, I know,
here.
but there's often it does go like that.
Chester, that's a good tackle by Gleeson. It was on the last. It was on the last. They didn't hear the call, Hull. 68 yards wide, 100 metres long, this pitch.
Well, they're all at sea of saints. The people running around, don't know who's going to take the first man. Can't hear much talking between the side either out there. This is the time where Captain Courageous has to stand up, lead the way. They need something. They need to score before half-time.
I don't know which Captain Courageous you're looking at. Maybe this one, because the captain himself is off the field.
Doesn't matter. Stand up, be counted.
Long trying to do that now. Back on the inside, it goes to Yonkers. 13 metres away from the line with Long. Long drifts the kick through, looking for Edmondson. And Prescott, the coolest man in the Casey Stadium, allowed that to bounce as Edmondson came hurtling up behind him.
Touch too strong there from the halfback, Sean Long. But you can see there's only one real man running through. The rest of the St Helens outfit are just hanging back. Now, I know there was some rumour that there was flu running through the camp this week in St Helens, but they just look lost, don't they, Eddie?
They do at the moment. A couple of sniffles. Ian Millwood concedes. He brought a couple of extra men up on the bus just in case anyone went down with a touch of the EBGBs on the way here. But it's the 17 he named yesterday, and this is Colin Best, and on one knee he gets the ball away to Greenhill, and Greenhill gives it to Richard Horn. Oh, he's got inside him. Richard Horn. Nobody there again.
Well, there was some on the inside. It was the hooker Treaster, but he went the opposite. They're in trouble here.
It's Yeeman again. Flings the ball back. Barnett. Barnett on to Colin Best. Last tackle it is. Looking to offload. He does! Duncan! Glenn Duncan, third try. Duncan, the try for Hull. It's his first ever try for the black and whites. And 20-year-old Glenn Duncan plonked that down. And look what it does to the terraces here at the new stadium. And Sean McRae, he's on the phone. I wonder, he's not calling for more replacements.
He doesn't need them. This is outstanding play. Didn't he do so well there? Yeeman got the ball back on the inside. Darren Albert didn't finish him off. But look at this. How's that for basketball stuff? Mr. Best proved he was. Thought they had him. Did well to get the ball back on the inside. This is outstanding. Here it is. Here it is. And now I go for the 4. He'll enjoy that, and rightly so. The crowd have gone absolutely bananas here. It's Hull, Hull, Hull.
And it's hell, hell, hell for St Helens.
I was going to say, change the vowel.
14-0. The crowd on its feet here, applauding this side, who are playing, I must say, like a team with champion ambition. Prescott to try and add 2 more.
World beaters, these.
He's pushed it the wrong side of the post. It's 14-0 though to Hull. And what do they say when your backs are against the wall and in adversity you shine?
This is the incident where he's offloading the ball just in time, and I mean just in time. Well, he has flirted with that whitewash on 2 occasions. Remember, Yeeman...
The old touch judge is frightened to death to put his flag up anymore.
Oh, well, he's got it right on that occasion, Eddie. Well, this is outstanding.
Maybe, you know, when you think about that and the closeness of another one there, maybe they might have been advised to have a look at that on the video referee. As it turns out, it was 100% safe, the decision.
Well, the touch judge didn't raise the flag,
no.
so therefore he didn't have to go to make the decision. So according to
he
the...
could have done.
Yeah, but according to the official, we'll be stopping every time, Eddie.
Richard Horne went for a big kick downfield, but Anthony Stewart is over there to collect for the Saints.
Well, where is the pride and where is the passion now? They really have got to dig deep. 14-0.
And they're getting through their substitutes as well. That's halfway to the 12 for St Helens.
Well, Millwood is desperate to try to get some sort of spark. There's so much experience out there. And, you know, they're trying this inside pass, fancy stuff. All they want to do is get the message out, roll the sleeves up.
That's a good run from Long.
Oh, dear me.
Jonkers just couldn't take the pass in. It bounced in front of him. And they have major problems, St Helens. When you think, when we saw Saints against Bradford on the opening night of the year, St Helens were running so hot. Tonight, well, they're not at the races.
They're falling in a hole. But the point I was trying to make, when you're in such a position like that, you're not getting through your sets of 6, just go down to it, settle down. Get the forwards, get some work, get some... Look at that, miss. This is going to be a nightmare for them. This could be 50.
The Yeeman taking on Long and Joint combining. The captain is out there to inspire again. Treaster comes down the short side, tried to get the pass inside to Donkin, and so the referee will put the scrum down here.
And you can see the look of concern in Sean McRae. Okay, he'll be happy with the scoreline, but he knows that this St Helens side in this first half are ready for the sword, and he wanted to apply the pressure there. The tactics from Hull are quite superb, but they are being helped along by this poor defence.
Well, it started at Headingley, didn't it, Phil? And they've carried it on here at home.
Magnificent performance. When you saw Sean McRae pick up the phone, I wouldn't be surprised if he was placing an order for some champagne, because the way they played this first half has just been absolutely outstanding.
Oh, that's another
play.
Well, that's about 6 that I've counted, and they've got away with. As you say, Eddie, this touch judge.
You say, Steve-O, that it could end up by 50 points. I almost think as well it could end up with the Saints win here, you know. They've hung in there. They've conceded 14 points, but if they can get to half-time at this stage, they've got a chance of regrouping and coming back in the second half.
But as I said earlier, Clarkie, they must get some points before the half-time hooter.
Not really. 14 points isn't that much for St Helens. They can score that in 5 minutes.
You're right, they can. They have on other occasions. And they might here. Darren Albert with the kick inside, but it's easy for Prescott, that. And there's another missed tackle, that one by Hyan. Well, the list is growing. It's going to be endless before the end of this match, unless Saints tighten themselves up. Here goes Colin Best.
Well, it could equate to actually 1 missed tackle a minute.
This is Gareth Carvel. Dumps the ball back again. They're playing with such confidence. Toa Love, quick play the ball. That's a feature as well. This is Donkin.
Keep coming.
Chester, inside it goes to Cook. Here now is Carvel again.
Good basic rugby league football. They're utilising the good forward pack and getting the kick and chase in that are harassing Saints.
Wellens. 2.5 to half-time. St Helens will be anxious to get some points on the board. They've had the greater of the possession, as you can see, and they lead by 14 points.
But most of that percentage, 41 for Saints, has been in their own half. That is a big factor too.
And 27 missed tackles. Well, that is remarkable for St Helens. Barry Ward, 27. Oh, and there's a mistake. Another one, and that's from the man of steel.
He's completely off the boil. They all are. Well, it must be a planned move to be utilising Sculthorpe in the dummy half position. I'm not so sure it's the best thing. You've got Hyam out there.
Stay.
Wigan against Leeds is our match on Friday. And Paul Sculthorpe, by the way, will be our guest at the JJB Stadium.
He's underneath, he's underneath, he's underneath.
This is Coelho.
Let's go, let's go.
What on earth will Ian Millward say at half-time? I don't think he'll be calm and collected. He looks it there, but inside he must be a troubled man.
Well, he's not a ranter and a raver, that's for sure.
I think he might change in a few moments' time.
I think it'll be constructive criticism rather than destructive.
Well, he's got to do something.
Got to shake them up, there's
Yeah.
no doubt about that.
To breathe some fire into it.
Mind you, Hull are playing very well.
Yeah, but they're being allowed to play well, Eddie. And there's the point, and that's a good kick, especially just before half-time. He knows he'll get possession, but the way that Saints have been coughing it up, there's an opportunity yet again. Just lovely basic football. That's the one thing you've got to admire about Sean McRae. He knows exactly what he can get out of his players. Does not ask a certain player to go above and beyond. He knows what he can do. Mix it all in the melting pot, and boy, look at the score. It's not a bad brew, is it?
It's looking pretty good at the moment.
Stay.
And he's just sent the message down to the sideline, apparently, to just be very wary of the kick and chase by St Helens in the next 10 seconds or so. Prescott's dropped back. There's another forward pass missed.
That's 7 that I've counted.
Here comes the kick, maybe. No. Gleeson will be tackled, and that will do. They're on their feet, the Hull supporters. They're on their bottoms, the Saints fans. Hull have bossed that from the very first minute. Yeaman got a try in the 4th. Prescott after 14. Donkin 7 minutes before half-time. And the Hull supporters, they know they have this dreadful record against the Saints in the Super League. It could just be about to change. The effort is etched all over Steve Prescott's face, and that has summed up the Hull first half. They lead the champions by 14-0.
And if they can play with the same enthusiasm as they showed in that first stanza, St Helens really have got to dig deep. You know, the great Jack Nicklaus, when he went through bad patches, Eddie, he used to say, go back to basics. And I'm sure that Ian Millward would have said that. Let's start building, push it to one side, new ball game.
Last time Hull were crowned as Rugby League champions 20 years ago, 1983. Will 2003 be their biggest year since then? They're playing with a lot of enthusiasm, and when you consider that the men out here, plus Andy Last, are the last 18 standing inside the dressing room because of the horrific injury problems Sean McRae has had to deal with this year, this first half has been even more remarkable.
It's amazing what you fight through adversity, and that's obviously been etched in their mind in that first 40.
Good hands here for St Helens early. This is Gleeson. But Hull hunting them down, the ball carrier. And the ball has come free. It's a knock-on. And Gleeson saying it was stolen from him. But the touch judge on the far side does not agree.
Well, it looked as though that Chester was just having a little bit of a pull on it. See it better from this angle.
This is the view the touch judge had.
I think it was the Chester arm. Not having a good day, is he, the touch judge?
Oh, that was stolen?
Of course it was stolen. Right in front of the touch judge. The same touch judge.
Yes.
Has swapped sides now, of course. since he's made that mistake and the try was given to Yeeman.
He's a jelly.
Jelly.
Well, let's concentrate on the stars on the field, shall we? Oh, Dow's tried to get the ball away. That was forward. It was then inventive from Chester. He sliced the ball into the arms with the foot of Barnett, but the ball did go forward.
Well, that surprised me, the tactics to try to offload there. Look at the score line, 14-0 up, and you're in a position. The positional kicking from Hull, especially from Richard Horne and Paul Cook, was nothing short of spectacular in the first 40.
Well, a couple of minutes into the second half. Wonder what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time, Bill.
Pretty satisfied Hull FC coach Sean McRae. Their completion rate, he says, somewhere around the 88% mark. The coach can't really ask for more than that. They probably do ask for more than that, but his team's done him proud in that first 40 minutes. Just expecting more of the same in this second half. Hull, though, that 14 points is nothing when you're up against a St Helens side that really is pumped up. Sean McRae well aware of that, well aware that Ian Millwood will have told his side, as he has done, that they can do themselves justice in this second half. They didn't do that in that first 40 minutes, let themselves down. Plenty of room for improvement right across the park, and they're setting about it now.
Indeed so, they're hanging on here with Yonkers. He plays the ball to Chris Joint. Pass to Long, and a dab through from Long. An invitation for Darren Smith. He nearly got there.
Inventive.
It was Smith who got the last touch, says the referee.
Just wants to check how to restart it. No, I think it was Chester that got there. Chester's running back. I think it'll be deemed that Chester's got the touch to it. You can't see it on that angle. I thought it was quite clear the other. Yeah, Chester. This will be a dropout underneath the sticks. Well, it should be. Put it that way. No doubt in my mind that Chester.
Yeah, goal line dropout. And Robert Connolly, that's very wise of him, actually.
He's had a big game.
He just called time off and said, just check that for me, and I see nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's what it's there for. It's a look, he's showing a lot of confidence. All the mistakes that have been coming from the forward pass, he keeps looking to the touch judges for assistance and some guidance, and he's getting none.
Edmondson.
Remember, the referee is taking the defending side back 10 metres. The touch judge has to help them with such things.
Now then, can St Helens get through here with Sculthorpe? Oh, the pass to Yonkers was forward. Oh, he's given a penalty anyway.
Offside.
I think someone's in the bin here. He'd taken the man out before he received the pass, and Coe Love is in the sin bin.
Well, this could see a dramatic change to this game.
This is a big call from Robert Connolly.
And the first time we've seen some skill from Paul Sculthorpe. Well, it was a 50-50. I think Coe Love may feel has been hard done by.
Oh no, I think it was absolutely right. I think it was a forward pass, having said that, but he was taken out, Steve, without the ball, definitely. Joint, that was forward.
I thought he's got it.
Oh.
Well, they've got away with it so many times. Now, this is the incident.
Watch Coe Love, tackle there. Well before the ball reached him, Stephen.
Well, it is slow motion.
Here, take these glasses.
I said it was in slow motion, all right?
Take the glasses, have another look.
I am agreeing with you.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, Marcus!
Whether it's at 50 mile an hour or 10 mile an hour, the tackle was made before the ball reached him.
Speed it up, makes a difference.
Marcus!
Take a different angle.
Okay, Barnett, the dummy half, waits for Hull. And Saints now are offside.
Well, a golden opportunity. And on the second play of the ball, what do? They come up with it.
Full pace. He was just as quick. He still got him before the ball reached him.
Well, the ball was in the air. It's all about interpreting the rules, isn't it?
Chapter 3. No, I know. Chapter 3, we're moving on.
Look, the director can show it as many times as he likes. He's not going to convince me.
I see, by the way, that you're doing a charity walk, you and Clarkey, so it'll be interesting when the fans get at you. 100 and how many miles is it?
It's just under 200 miles.
Oh my word. Situation's vacant.
Come along, join in. A lot of people think, no, I won't make it.
Well, oh, it's a great kick. Colin Best might make it. Darren Albert is tackled over his own line. Sorry, Anthony Stewart.
Well, even then, Stewart was very, very slow to get his body down on that. There's an old expression that they're not at the races.
Clarkie, you're going to enjoy this walk with Milado?
I think we'll have put the world to rights by the time we finish it, won't we? 200 miles. We start in London. It's for the Outward Bound Trust, which basically helps disadvantaged children, really, and gives them a bit of a start in life. So it's a great cause, and I'm sure I'll learn one or two things walking with that man sat next to you right now.
Hang on, Clarkie. Who says I'm going to speak to you when we start walking?
We might kidnap Eddie and make him come along for a day as well.
I'll be there a couple of times, definitely, but I've got to do some work, you see, during the week, not like you two.
Just steady things down now.
Oh, Carvel! Carvel! Good tackle, Wellens. Richard Horn. All hands to the pump.
Good job that Hyam is there.
Prescott. Cook on the bounce. This is Prescott. No, it isn't. It's Dean Treaster. Last tackle. They're going wide with Cook. A dab into the in-goal area, and it's shuffled over the dead ball line by Darren Albert.
Had to as well. Wonderful weighted kick here. Paul Cook's superb little kick there. Horn went very, very close, as I mentioned. Sean says, well, they didn't get the right option, but I don't know why he's shaking his head, because they get the ball back from the dropout. Another double set of 6. Had plenty of those in the first stanza. Well, again, we saw there how easy this whole side are just brushing them off. I think that someone must have pinched the tackle backs over the Pennines in St. Helens, because they haven't been using them. If you look at this,
Treaster infield to Carvel. Back it goes to Richard Horn. Prescott, quick hands. Donkin gets it away to Colin Best. Colin Best gets away from one. Oh, how's that? How's that from Colin Best? He went round Newland like he wasn't there. Well, St. Helens started the second half with a little more vim and vigour, but it has soon been punched out of them, and the crowd's on its feet. And why not? That's Colin Best's 8th try of the season, and Sean McRae looks on, and that's why he brought him over from Australia. A try in each of his last 5 games now.
and not surprisingly, the music for this man is simply the best, and he was. But look how easy they stepped through. This is on the last, remember. They took the chance, keeping it alive. There's one man I'm going through. There's another, and there's another. Super try, isn't it? Confidence, keeping the ball alive. Did well to pick it up, keep the ball alive. Woeful defence. Well, anyone watching our game for the first time, they'll be saying, are you sure Saints are last year's champions?
Prescott adds the extras. It's 20 points to 0. And the champions are being taken apart.
Well, he holds the ball so casually, doesn't he, this winger Best? But he's effective. Neat step. Wonderful work.
Well, it was a basketball pass, remember, that produced a try in the first half, one-handed. I know this 8-panel ball isn't quite as wide as the one that you used to play with, Steve-O, but surely it's not that narrow, is it?
No, I just think that they've got bigger hands these days, Eddie. But that was a wonderful effort. You've got to admire the way this whole side are building in confidence. They've gone through adversity, as a lot of clubs will do, and have done so far this season. But it's a fashion that they've been going through this attempted tackling. Far too many are going high, and Hull are making so much ground forward They take 2 steps and then they hesitate. Outstanding rugby league football from Hull. And that's a wonderful kick as well.
Great kick down the line.
And that is good.
Chester.
It's good thinking from Chester as well. 20 points in front. Why bother waiting to play up in your own quarter when we can just go down in the sunshine?
Remember, by the way, Hull at the moment are down to 12 men because Toa Koilov's in the sin bin.
Well, it all came about when you said that they came out with a bit more vim and vigour, and yet, as soon as they had the opportunity, they came up with a forward pass. I mean, that's elementary mistakes, schoolboy stuff.
And Hull are up for this. They have been from the very first whistle.
Have they ever? It's been man and boy, hasn't it?
And a disciplined performance as well so far, other than the fact that Koilov's in the bin for a professional foul, which, to be fair, did deny St Helens a try. 31 now, the missed tackle count. Sculthorpe at dummy half, Long.
Look at the difference in that defensive line. They are forcing... Oh, they nearly came up with... Smith nearly came up with a mistake. But they are forcing Saints virtually to one-out football. Look at them. That's the difference. Coming in on the arc.
And to the strains of Old Faithful, Colin Best gets away from Mickey Hyan. That's good tackle from Darren Albert.
Well, if I was a coach, if I was Sean McRae, when this guy keeps holding the ball with one hand...
Offside now, Saints.
If I had the swinger on my side, I'd be saying, please, Mr. Best, hold it with 2 hands. But he's so effective with it, isn't it? It's as though he holds it out and taunts the defence. Phil, have you ever seen a player like this that carries the ball so often with one hand?
Well, the first time we saw him play here, he came up with that error in his in-goal area, and London scored from it. It's a bit more ferocity there now in the Saints defence. But again, the second wave of Hull player just takes it forward. All the players are trying to hold it in one hand because it means if you're half tackled, you've got the hand free then and the ball to offload quickly. Flicks it out like you saw in the first half try. Do you know, at half-time I thought Saints had a chance of coming back into this game, as I probably intimated, just goes to show how little I know. But really this performance from Hull has been outstanding, and all of a sudden the side decimated by injuries, and players you really sometimes wouldn't think had been selected if everybody had been fit, are just showing the champions what they can do.
Indeed so, and it's Richard Horne now. He gets it away, but Donkin, all he could do with that was just pat the ball into the arms of Anthony Stewart. Well, the last time, by the way, St Helens were nilled in a match, it was in the World Club Challenge, remember, in February, by the Roosters.
Things have changed since then. Youngster couldn't just drag it in.
Offside Hull, the lucky St Helens.
Because that was forward as well. And it still looks uncomfortable. Koilov ready to join the fray. And he lost control of it. And it looked forward too.
Koilov's back on the field now. So it's 13 aside. As Newlove restarts and finds Cunningham, who offloads to Hyam, who offloads to Long. A little gap has opened up for Sean Long, but they quickly close him down. Carvel and Chris Chester.
Haven't seen much of Sean Long. Couple little forays forward.
Here's Cunningham. It goes wide to Darren Smith. Here's Joint. He offloads to Darren Britt.
Basic. One low round the legs, the other one stop the man from offloading.
Sculthorpe, they have a man on the overlap this time, it's Stewart. But that's wonderful defence from Colin Best. Newlove waits. Here is Sculthorpe, attacking the line. Good ball, great pass, Chris Joint. That was St Helens. That was the sort of stuff we'd come to expect from them. And Joint, the captain, was the last man on the end of the pass and goes over behind the sticks.
Boy, do they need that. Great approach work here. Sculthorpe to the fullback Wellens. Double shuffle. Second line of attack comes through. Beautiful play. They knew exactly what was happening. Knew that he was going to be the fullback that would be taking the first receiver. The 2 points had added. Well, maybe. Maybe.
20 points to 6. There's plenty of time for this team. It's sometimes believed that they write the scripts like this. If they come back from this, it will be one of the comebacks of all time. And how many times have we said that when we followed St Helens?
Many. Well, they just had a little bit of lady luck.
Just remember, by the way, Steve-O, Hull falling apart at Castleford.
Yep.
With 9 minutes left for play, they conceded 3 converted tries. It was a draw.
I'm sure that Sean McRae is fully aware of that, Eduardo, and he will send a message down. And I'm sure that that message will be to make sure your one line of defence is solid like that. Do nothing fancy. Keep Saints back in their own half.
Well, once they get a roll on, as Clarkey said, I think just after half-time, and in fact during the half-time, you see they play like this. They can score from anywhere, and here goes Lowe. What a tackle from Prescott.
Unbelievable.
What a fabulous tackle from Prescott. But here come the Saints. Quick hands again. And this is Cunningham, and he flicks it back to Joint. And there's Darren Smith, and over the top it goes. And this is Anthony Stewart.
Breathtaking stuff.
I'm sorry, that was Darren Albert. This is Chris Joint, though, no mistaking him, and he's hauled back.
Good effort from Cook there. Took all his strength to just pull him back away from the line.
Cunningham, Gleeson. Good defence.
Took the gamble, took the power play. Good work from Hyam. It was outstanding, the flick off onto the right-hand side, but the tackle from Prescott. He has had an outstanding game of rugby league, this man.
Gleeson's taken a bang there, making the tackle on Treaster.
He went in awkward. He's slowly but surely trying to get back into the line of defence.
There is Prescott with a wonderful try-saving tackle. He scored a fabulous try himself in the first half. That was forward
a mile.
It was Colin Best. Sculthorpe, this is him.
Oh, he should have passed. He should have passed. It was curtains for Saints then. But maybe a bit of justice has been done, because we've seen one of many forward passes yet again.
Oh, if he'd have taken that in, a try was begging. And it's Kirk Yeeman who was so close.
Well, he got it all wrong. It was a beautiful chip in. Look at the forward there. He had to reach nearly a yard forward for it. But he should have passed here. Look at this. Draw the full back. Oh, that was curtains.
Horn was wanting the pass that never came.
Yep. That would have pulled the drapes over.
Darren Smith. Yonkers has dropped it. Coelho's got it back. And Darren Smith pointing and shouting at his teammates. Here is King. Cook, wide it goes. And that was Chester. And here is King again. Richard Horn, wide it goes to Adam Marr.
Well, there come a time that Sean McRae, he'll be thinking about bringing on the youngster, Graham Horn, trying to fresh feet.
Chester!
Mickey Hyam has thrown himself all over the place in defence.
Richard Horn. And Cook, cut out pass. Coelho! Try for Toa Coelho. Just back out of the sin bin. There was maybe an element of luck about that, because the pass cut the man out, and I don't think it was intended to, but it looped over the top, and Coelho was on it in a flash, and he touches the ball down.
Well, once the lava starts moving, it's pretty difficult to stop. And boy, it's been hot stuff from Hull tonight. Outstanding is the only word I can come up with. They took the gamble, did Sculthorpe, came out of the one-line of defence. They had 2-on-1. It was a simple try in the end, but well worked. You'll see Sculthorpe struggling. He couldn't defuse the pass. It was Cook And then on to Prescott. Koilov said, I'll spend any 10 minutes in the sin bin if I can come up with what's on the back of my shirt. And that's a 4.
Prescott then with the opportunity to add 2 more points. Only a 50% success rate with the boot, but St Helens, the comeback was in full sail. There was wonderful defence up the other end. And now Hull have come back and hit them with another try. Their only win in 12 previous Super League encounters, 2001, 34-28. Another kick goes begging, hits the post, 24-6.
You got to be pretty smart to come out of the one line of defence, as you can see there from Sculthorpe. Once they offloaded, look at that, nothing they could do about it. They were completely outpaced out wide. Well, this has got to go down as one of the best performances from a Hull side for many, many years. They've fought and battled some close encounters and come up with the goods, but to actually just demolish the opposition in this way, it's probably the best I've seen from them for a long time, Eddie.
Yes, they're running pretty hot, and this will confirm them, if they hang on to the victory, Phil, as well and truly 3rd place.
Yes, it will, and I think the other thing it will probably do is put some confidence back into the fans, really. They started off the season, they had that shattered in that home defeat against London, but slowly the team have rebuilt it. And of course they've got Halifax away in the next game, and then they play the Bradford Bulls at home, and that again will be another test of them. That will mean they'll face St Helens and Bradford, the 2 finalists in the grand final last year, and the 2 teams who many expect maybe would make it again this, all of a sudden have to come to the KC Stadium and take on the Hull Tide in this sort of form.
Hull are on their way to their 5th match unbeaten for St Helens. If it stays a defeat, their 6th defeat in 9. Alarm bells ringing in St Helens.
Well, it'd have to be, because it's sprinkled with so many stars that are just not producing the goods. They look lethargic, they're not playing as a unit.
But I go back to that first night against Bradford, Steve-O, at Knowsley Road. They were scintillating that night. They blew Bradford apart that night. What's happened since? Where's it gone?
Well, I reckon that Ian Millwood would probably be asking the same question, and quite a few of the star players. But it's not how you start, Eddie, it's how you finish. But if it continues in this fashion, I mean, the St Helens defence, the quality, some are going up, some are going down. They could be struggling to make the playoffs.
There's a big call.
Play like this, it's not a big call.
Here is King.
They've just out-muscled St Helens in the forwards. Their ability to offload, their ability to break to the first.
Oh, what a kick. Nearly. Darren Albert picks it up. That ball looked like it was sailing out on the bounce, but it just stood up for Albert.
And there you see, I talk about the enthusiasm, Eddie. It looked there, he'd given up the hope. Oh, it's going into touch. And then he saw it bounce. It's rugby league can be a game all about just inches and seconds.
Here's Cunningham, now joint. Sculthorpe took the gamble. Koilov went for the interception. He's got it now anyway. It's not going according to the Millwood plan, this.
Well, at 24-6, they've just got to try everything. It's no point in trying to just build on it. I said that they should have done that just after the restart, but the minutes are ticking away and the power is too much.
Great ball from King inside to Richard Horn. There were 2 on his back, and a good job too. Here's Chester. There's Chester. And that was a very important tackle. And the St Helens man is hurt, having made it.
Was Gleeson,
Greenhill. It was Gleeson. He's been in the wars a bit tonight.
Well, some of the Saints players have had to do overtime in the defence because a few of the others. Look at that. Oh, you get it, you get it.
Darren Smith just stood and watched that go past him, and Gleeson was the first to react.
Well, I know you go through periods in in a full season. Look at this at the kick. Now then, who wants it? There's no enthusiasm. They have had everything just...
Great ball, though, that.
Just knocked out of them.
Oh, interception here. Colin Best. Colin Best gets another. His second try. And that was like taking candy from a baby.
Easy, shout the crowds. And why not? They had to force it. But you have to say now that all has gone. It's going to be difficult for Ian Millward, the Saints coach, to try to lift them. He looks completely bemused. And Best has certainly been the best so far. One of the very few offloads from Brits. They tried to take and create the extra man, and Colin Best says, I am going and taking it. Look at this, look at that, say, hang on, you get it, no, you get it. Now, if that doesn't give the green light to the rest of the players in the opposition, nothing will. And you can take chances like that. Coming from the whitewash, okay, they've got to keep it alive. They want, this crowd's chanting 50, they want 50.
They've got 30. The Saints have only got 6. Quite a performance from Colin Best and the rest of this Hull side.
You talk about performances, Eddie, it's going to be extremely difficult to pick out a Hull player, and believe you me, the man of the match will come from the Hull side. There's been so many stars, but I think the pleasing thing, and I'm sure that Sean McRae will agree with me, is the way that they've bonded, the unity that's been on display, the support play, the offloads. It's been superb.
And here they come again, a great white wave of attack after attack. And St Helens with no answer tonight.
Well, they're out on their feet. 24-10 says it all, doesn't it? I mentioned at half-time that St Helens have broken many records, and they picked up another one, that's 27 missed tackles. I can't remember ever that happening in a 40-minute game. Not from a champion side like St Helens.
35 missed tackles now, 13 by Hull. You can probably hear in the background from time to time the Hull anthem, Old Faithful. It's an old anthem for the new home. Darren Albert on the break. Here's Gleeson. Oh, Long was in the way. To be fair, it wasn't Long's fault. Just couldn't get out of the way of that. They are, I'm afraid, shell-shocked.
Well, the coach, the driver's already gone. He's already turned the engine over. He wants to make it nice and warm for when the players get on the coach going back on the M62. And if he hasn't got the heater on, Ian Millward certainly will have.
This is Sean Ryan. They're 8 metres away again, Hull. They're not finished yet. Horn back on the inside. This is Greenhill.
They're queuing up now. Hull players, they want to try too.
Well, they've been on the end over the years in Super League of a few hammerings. Best flicked that. It's still, to be fair, they are having one of those nights, Hull. Everything, but everything they try is coming off.
Well, the harder you try, the luckier you get. That's another old saying, which I'm sure you remember.
The harder you try, the luckier you get. No, I don't remember that one.
Of course, you went to a different school.
Well, yours was approved, wasn't it? Joint.
Well, my mother and father certainly approved of it.
Long goes wide to Darren Smith. Gleeson.
Look at the eagerness in the tackle.
There's just nowhere for St Helens to get through here. It's a magnificent performance from Hull. It really is. And we've said that many times, by the way, about this St Helens side. We have heaped praise on them in years gone by, but this is Hull's night. Now that's a good kick from Long, and it's brilliantly claimed by Richie Barnett. and he still had the presence of mind to make 5 more metres forward.
Under a lot of pressure, wonderful take. That is the one thing that St Helens have struggled with, and that's getting the man down to the ground that's been carrying the football. I've got to say, I've got to give a lot of praise to this substitute, Mickey Hyam. Since he's come on, he's had to do so much defence, and that's been brought about by some of his own players not doing any hard work.
Graham Horn tackled on the last. Adam Marr waits at dummy half. It comes infield to Richard Horn, and he'll just drift the kick over the back of Anthony Stewart. Lush grass this, it might end up, it does. Stewart to Wellens, and Wellens can't get away from them.
Well, if one man does miss, you can guarantee there'll be at least 1 or 2 to help put him down. Look at that, that's getting off the line. That's King at his best.
Ward offloads, they're forcing the error. This is Darren Albert now.
Well, I've just been informed that Mickey Hyam has done no less than 24 tackles, and for a substitute, that is just outstanding.
With a great effort. Here is Long. On it goes again, and there's just nowhere for Wellens to go other than the ground.
In your face.
Long with the kick over the top. Prescott's after this. That's a good chase led by Sculthorpe. Well, everything is coming off for Hull. It really is. Some nights you can ride your luck. Some nights you can make your luck. And tonight, Hull have certainly made plenty and ridden plenty. Barnett.
But they've been adventurous, haven't they? Great to see this man back. Had so much in attack, doesn't he? Went on the wing today, Richie Barnett, but has not been frightened. Neither is his other partner, Colin Best, on the other side, to go looking for work. Maybe that's a key word that Mr. Millwood may have to tell his super side. Got to put a bit of graft.
Got a bit of what?
Put a bit of graft in.
Thank you. Prescott with the kick downfield. Stewart will run it back. Clarkey, it's been an excellent show from Hull, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. You don't very often see a side play to their full potential in both attack and defence, but I think Hull have done that here tonight. The other thing that Sean McCray was so delighted about is the versatility within his squad. You know, with players missing, other players stepping in, what he describes as his brains trust, the 6, 7 and 13 have combined excellent. So really now, as the season progresses, and no doubt there will be injuries, he's got so many players to cover so many options.
That's a great run from Barry Ward, and that's a great tackle from Colin Best on Newlove. Here is Yonkers. Oh, there's nobody there. Barry Ward was standing still. He was the nearest to him.
But look at all the white shirts getting in amongst them. It's 30 points to 6, and you'd think, OK, we can rest a bit, but they're not.
Wellens tacking the line again. Dumps the ball back. Still on the last. Long with the kick through. Prescott's position himself. Good chase by Sean Long. He has forced the goal line drop out from Hull.
Watch this. Barry Ward makes the break. They do the defence, come through. Newlove, I think that's about the first time I've seen Newlove run this half. Look at the defence in. They get over the line. OK, some of them perhaps should have got back. But they're right in their faces.
Just 5.5 minutes to go. Drop out from underneath the sticks by Hull to Cunningham. And here is Barry Ward, who made the initial break. Tackled by Graham Horn. And this Adam Marr is all over the show for Hull. Every time we see him, he really is the unsung hero of this Hull side.
Without a doubt, he just steadies things down, makes sure he gets through the tackles.
Now Sculthorpe showed it to Yonkers, gave it instead to Wellens, and there is no way through for Wellens. Yonkers, Sean Long, good ball, lost it.
Too many cooks spoil the broth. That's a knock on.
He'll play the first.
They're just being confused, haven't they? And when it comes to a point where you get two guys going for the same ball, they're not talking. I mentioned that early in the second half. We saw there Mike Bennett, Kieran Cunningham going for the same pass. If you do not communicate, especially at this stadium, with all the noise.
I know it's difficult to make yourselves heard, isn't it? And Saints now will battle through to the end with what is out there on the field. They've had their 12 changes. And here is Horn again, who gives it to Prescott. Bounces off Gleeson. Prescott. Gleeson comes back at him. Barnett.
Well, we talk about the man of the match, Eddie. I mean, we do give a lovely watch, but this fella here, he deserves a lot of praise. He's just set them up, hasn't he? Given the right plan, and if plan A doesn't work, they have plan B. But they have worked as a unit. It's the best I've seen from them, and it has been a pleasure to watch.
Here comes Colin Best again. He fancies a hat-trick. Inside it goes to Coelho. Well, take the three if you want it. They're queuing up here. And that's good defence from Wellens and company. They really were lined up across the field waiting to score. They still are. On the charge is Carvel.
That's
On the last.
Doesn't matter. You can afford to go for the power play. What a game he's had, the winger Best. Neat. The inside pass from Coelho. Well, quite a few people in rugby league thought that this whole side were all bash and barge and waited until they were in a certain position. But some of the pass... Oh, that says it all, doesn't it? That just about sums it up.
It does.
Mark Edmondson took the ball, stood still, not running onto it. This will be one videotape that Saints will throw away.
What a pass.
What a save. What a save there.
It's a very good job that Albert was in the way.
Look at the enthusiasm, though. Prescott missed the first attempt, so he came back. He's out on his feet. One line, watch this. Bang. Come to daddy.
Look at this pass from Barnett.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Full credit. Smith got a cross. Well, can it be a consolation? 37 is against 21.
Here's New Love. He's dropped another. Coelho. Well, there's news in the paper today that they're waiting for Paul Newlove to make a decision about his future, and talk of St Helens making a bid for Nigel Vangenaar. And I just get the impression that Paul Newlove might be a bit unsettled by all of this.
Well, we've seen very little of him. But we
His contract's up at the end of this
I
year.
know, but that's nothing to do with that, Eddie. This defence has been too good for them. Never had room to play. Look at this one now.
Greenhill.
Saints are so tired. They can hardly walk.
Treaster. Chester. Carvel.
That's the second time the big fella wants to get in.
Treaster again. Trying to burrow his way over.
I'm not so sure that Darren Smith was actually got back behind the line.
Richard Horn. Crossfield kick looking for Prescott. Long defensive duties.
Good position there by the halfback, it had to be as well.
They're so inventive, Hull, though, tonight.
Have they ever? Fully deserved. And they will walk out of this stadium, the Hull fans, and pump up the volume for Old Faithful. And soon as the final hooter goes, you can guarantee they will stand to man, woman and boy. And why not? This has been something special to sit here and watch.
Listen to them count down at the KC Stadium. That'll do them. Everyone shakes hands. Dean Treaster has played his full part. What a signing he's been for Sean McRae, and the two coaches shake hands and exchange views. They were pretty special tonight, Hull. And Ian Millwood knows it, and he'll be the first to acknowledge that. Great camaraderie amongst the coaches in Super League, believe me. And Hull have won by 30 points to 6. Sean McRae, he coached 2 wins out of 3 against St Helens in 1999 for Gateshead. But this tonight is only his 2nd win with Hull against the club that he left in 1998. And another former Saint there, Steve Prescott, he has played his full part in this victory as well. A try and a wonderful tackle late on, or rather in the first half, near his own line. Terrific stuff from Hull. The champions rock back on their heels, and this crowd that is flocking down to the new stadium, they're being well rewarded. A fantastic show from their team tonight. And Colin Best, needless to say, has won Steve Owen Clarkey's vote as man of the match. So he goes home with the Tissot watch, and the 2-try winger is now talking to Bill.
Colin, congratulations on a man of the match performance. There you go. Nights don't get much better than that for wingers, do they?
No, that was unbelievable. The crowd tonight really got behind us, and I just can't believe the atmosphere over here. It's just sensational, and to beat the champions like that, it's just tremendous.
Well, I think that's the thing. You have beaten the champions, not just by a few points, but just convincingly. You've blown them away, haven't you?
Yeah, well, we're on our game tonight. I think nearly everything's stuck, and we scored some great tries, and I think we just showed everyone that we're not pretenders. We're here to have a shot at this title.
Are you going to have to pinch yourself when you look at the tape of this?
Yeah, I suppose I'm due for a big game. I've sort of been a bit quiet since I've been here, so I'm happy with that.
You certainly had a big game. Congratulations.
I'd just like to say thanks to Tesso, and I'd like to say hello to my family back at home and Emma. Cheers.
Thanks, Colin. Well done. Sean McRae, you must be very, very proud, and a great glow of satisfaction of that performance.
Well, you ask players to work hard all week for you in your preparation. They did that. You expect them to take that on the field. They did that. When you beat a side like St Helens, you've got to have played well. We did tonight. To keep them down to 6 points, almost unheard of, I think, in the modern era. But the way we took our opportunities was very good. They created some. They'll be disappointed they dropped a bit of football, but I thought our defence was pretty good, and it's a great night for us, and it's a very valuable 2 points.
And on top of that, you've had the most amazing atmosphere tonight, a great crowd, and it's just the feeling is that this might be all coming together now for Hull FC.
Well, I think the pleasing aspect, Bill, is when the away teams come, they talk about what a great place this is, and they talk about what a fantastic stadium, and I think when people leave, regardless of the result, they do talk about the atmosphere, and it's both parties that play a role in that. It's not just the Hull FC supporters, it's the away supporters. But, obviously tonight, St Helens were outnumbered in support-wise, and they were fantastic again. It's a marvellous place to play rugby league, and, things are coming together pretty well for us here, and we're enjoying playing here.
When you think you've done this with the bare bones of a side, what might it be like when you've got everybody back together again?
Well, you never know. I mean, rugby league's funny like that. Sport's funny like that. I've asked some young players to step up to the plate. We're getting the best out of some guys at the moment that I wasn't sure whether we would at the start of the season. I didn't know if they'd have to play so many games. You don't expect them to. They're part of your squad. You think they're good enough. At the moment, they are, and it's important for us to keep them level-headed. And, we head to Halifax on Friday night. It's a really short turnaround for us. And we've got to turn up there and be prepared to play as well, because I'm sure TA will have his side ready.
He certainly will for that rematch. Thanks very much, Sean.
Please.
Let's bring Phil Clark in. Phil, we've spoken a lot about Hull there, and Colin Best got the Man of the Match award, but really from 1 to 17, everybody was faultless, weren't they?
Well, they have some world-class players who I think helping the younger players who've come into the squad, and at the moment they look like a real deal. If you look at the performance graph of the Hull side over the last 5 years, you'll see it tracing slowly upwards, and I think when you look back in time, you'll see this as a significant performance really to defeat the champions at home here so emphatically. Really will, I think, confirm in their own minds that they have got the ability to actually do something in this competition this year.
Thanks very much, Phil. Well, great night for Hull FC, but it's Saints who go away licking their wounds, and they have got Warrington next weekend, and that now promises to be a humdinger of a match. Warrington against St Helens at Wilderspool.
Indeed so, it doesn't get any easier, does it, for the teams in Super League on the back of a defeat like that. Saints due at Warrington. Hull, 30 points, 12,500 here, and, Hull are very much in the big time, aren't they? They are now 3 points clear of Wigan. They're tucked in behind Bradford and Leeds at the top.